Elsewhere, though, there is still a faint chance more survivors can be found. At one city centre office block, a woman was pulled alive from the rubble after more than 25 hours trapped. This dramatic footage, filmed on Tuesday, shows the conditions under which rescuers are working. Dark, dangerous, but the result here, a life saved. Al Jazeera has obtained new footage of the moment the earthquake hit a Christian leadership meeting.
There's the earthquake I told you we were going to have. That's there.
The carnage it caused seen firsthand by New Zealand's Prime Minister on Wednesday.
All New Zealanders have a piece of our heart in Christchurch. All of our lives are touched by this event. A friend or a family member who lives there, a time spent studying or a memorable experience there. We feel connected to your suffering. Your tragedy is our tragedy. Today I want Christchurch to hear this message. You will get through this. This proud country is right behind you, and we are backing you with all our might.
As if conditions weren't already tough enough, concerned that aftershocks could bring more buildings tumbling down. This hotel, one of the tallest buildings in town, leans precariously to one side. Each new sway of the ground, and on Wednesday there have been many, brings fears it will fall. This building is typical now of so many in Christchurch. A real mess. You can see the walls have been ripped off, rooms exposed, rubble on the ground. It was actually hit by the more minor earthquake in September and was being restored after that earthquake when yesterday's hit. And yesterday's, I'm afraid, finished it off. Out of town too, the fort's clear. Beautiful tourist drives, now rock-strewn assault courses. In the city, everyone affected. Water, where available, must be boiled. Half of all homes without power. Those that can, leaving. Christchurch Airport reopen, but packed with people desperate to get out. New Zealand is one of the least populated countries on Earth, famous for its wide open spaces. The terrible irony here, that this quake hit one of its most crowded places at one of its busiest times. Andrew Thomas, Al Jazeera, Christchurch.
Well, still to come in this half hour, deadly demonstrations in Yemen. We'll find out what's happening in the capital some 2 weeks after the uprising began there. And rehabilitating former foes, Pakistan is trying to reintegrate the Taliban fighters of the Swat Valley.
Welcome back. We are first going to start with Japan. A lot of rain coming in from the south first on Thursday. And then as we go into Friday, all that rain shower activity moves up towards the central and northern parts of Japan. You can see Osaka at 13, going up to about 14, but still very rainy conditions as we go into Tokyo. Their temperature comes up, but it's going to be a very rainy day for them. On Friday, we're also going to be seeing some very clear skies anywhere from Pyongyang down to Seoul, Vladivostok. Unfortunately, your high temperature is only going to be about -6 degrees for you. Down towards Australia, we're going to be seeing some very heavy rain showers still for the western part of Australia. On Thursday, those are going to start to die down. As we go into Friday, that cyclone moves offshore, but warm temperatures still down towards the south. We're looking at anywhere from about 33 to 35 degrees anywhere along the Great Bight, and also up towards the north, Darwin, about 29 degrees, but very wet conditions for you. And of course, very importantly, down towards New Zealand, where we had that earthquake, over towards Christchurch. Thursday, not looking too bad. Relief and recovery efforts are going to be very good weather for them. But as we go into Friday, more rain shower activity will be coming into the forecast. We are going to be seeing temperatures for Wellington about 19 with some slight rain showers in the activity, and that cyclone is moving offshore.
The Golan Heights, one of the spoils of the 1967 war, home to 20,000 Israelis and source of 1/3 of all Israel's water. But what of the Syrians left behind? With families torn apart and all borders closed, they come to talk to their loved ones across the Shouting Valley. Across the Shouting Valley on Al Jazeera.
Hello again, recapping some of the main points in our top story. The crisis in Libya. Now, the capital, Tripoli, is currently being reported as deserted. Gunmen loyal to the regime are said to be roaming the streets. Meanwhile, in the eastern city of Benghazi, protesters are celebrating after they successfully pushed out the colonel's loyalists. Well, one of those loyalists for many years was Nouri al-Masmari. He was part of Muammar Gaddafi's inner circle, and he decided to move away from it a short while ago. He's told AlJazeera why he deserted Libya's leader.
Now what is happening in Libya is genocide. It's mass killing. I mean, come on. How? I mean, either you are a diabolic man that you stay with this man, or either you are a human being and get out. And that's what we have done. The only thing we are going out and we are joining our people. And we will fight with them. We don't care. We die today, we die tomorrow, we die the day after, but one day Libya will be free. And we say our souls, our blood is sold for Libya.
Well, Muammar Gaddafi has always kept his family close, and his sons in particular have been an integral part of his power structure. Perhaps the most prominent son is Saif al-Islam. Many in the West had come to see him as a reforming influence. But his dramatic appearance on Libyan television on Sunday night, in which he defended his father, has shattered many of those illusions. Barnaby Phillips reports.
He was the charming face of the Gaddafi regime. A man who loved art.
This kind of face was the beginning of my journey with colors.
A man who wooed the world with talk of reform and the promise of access to Libya's wealth. So Saif al-Islam's rambling televised speech came as a shock to those foreign admirers. He said drug addicts, foreigners and Islamists were plotting against his father, who would fight to the last bullet. This is the London School of Economics, the LSE. Saif studied here, his charity has given it money. But academics who knew and liked him are now appalled by his speech in support of a brutal regime.
Here was a man, I think, under huge stress and personal circumstances, now torn apart by this tension between, on the one hand, loyalty to his father and family, and on the other hand, the reform of his country. This was almost a tragedy of Shakespearean proportions being played out in front of us. And when he came to make his final judgment, he made the wrong one.
This is the library at LSE, and inside we managed to find a copy of Saif al-Islam's doctoral dissertation, which he submitted in 2008, more than 400 pages long. It's entitled "The Role of Civil Society in the Democratization of Global Governance Institutions." Let me just show you a highlight or two. He talks about the problems of citizens who live in undemocratic states where governments are authoritarian, abusive, and unrepresentative.